There are a lot of martial arts in this world. I'm talking in the hundreds. But with so many different ones to practice, karate, taekwondo, boxing, sambo, is jiu-jitsu really the right answer? Is this the best martial art that we could be practicing? Maybe we've been doing the wrong sport the entire time, or we're just ahead of the curve. Today we're going to be looking at different martial arts and how they compare to jiu-jitsu, such as their practicality, how effective they are as sports, and other hidden factors. And the sport that I got into before any jiu-jitsu is wrestling. So let's start there. Probably the number one comparison you'll see to jiu-jitsu is wrestling. That's because it's one of the most popular grappling sports in the world. Not that that's saying much, but for the sake of popularity, let's keep it to traditional wrestling instead of catch wrestling. Wrestling is a masterclass in taking someone down, holding them in positions that rival jiu-jitsu for how odd they look, and having a heavy grind mindset. As far as practicality goes, it's pretty high up there. You can always take someone down and pin them down to hold them while you're keeping yourself safe. I mean, really all that's needed is I need to be able to reach them and grab onto their leg if I'm good at wrestling, and they're going to go down to the floor. But the difference between jiu-jitsu and wrestling is that once we hit the ground, how are we going to continue the fight? In wrestling, you win the match by pinning both their shoulders on the ground for 3 seconds, or you can win by points and just beat them up the entire match. Whereas in jiu-jitsu, the second our backs go into the mat, the world is our oyster. Everything's opened up and our game is completely available to us. Plus, the great thing about jiu-jitsu is all those techniques that work in wrestling also apply in jiu-jitsu. How effective they are may be different because we're not just going to quit the second our shoulders are on the mat, but we can still take somebody down, we can still ride them, and force them into terrible positions. In fact, I'd say that jiu-jitsu actually limits how practical wrestling becomes because of all the tools we have available. If you haven't noticed from all my guillotines, submissions can completely stop people from wanting to shoot in on you. On its own, wrestling is extremely effective because they can dictate where the fight goes, how the positioning is going to work out. It puts you in peak physical condition and creates some superior athletes. Some of those apply to jiu-jitsu as well, but wrestling is extra effective because if they don't want you to take them down, you're not going to. And believe it or not, but you can't actually do much sitting on your butt if they won't engage. Both arts are extremely versatile, but because of the rules in wrestling and trying to keep it more of a sport versus a fight, I'd say jiu-jitsu gets the edge here. But before I get crazy and move on to the other martial arts, I want to tell you about Transparent Labs. They're my newest sponsor, making me as big as possible. In order to get these results, I have to take the best supplements possible. Transparent Labs has great ingredients, it's at an affordable price, and they have excellent customer service. And here's one more secret, but the supplements actually taste good. So if you're looking to get better results on the mat, you can either use my link below or use promo code Tyler at Transparent Labs. Now, let's flip gears here. Karate is a striking sport with subpar grappling sprinkled in. It's mostly associated with McDojos, overpriced ranking systems, and a few notable athletes like Wonderboy and Lyoto Machida. As far as practicality goes, anyone can get punched in the face or kicked in the ribs. But the problem with karate is they don't teach it the best way. If you want to punch, learn boxing. You want to kick, learn kickboxing or Muay Thai. Chambered strikes, strange katas, and no, real grappling really hurt how effective and practical karate can be. But I also understand that if it's in the right hands and not taught to you by a McDojo, you can produce some serious athletes with it. Now, jiu-jitsu doesn't have any strikes. Well, not really. Sometimes we go over defense on how to avoid them if it's more self-defense, but overall, striking isn't allowed. So karate can show you some useful applications if you strip all the crap away from it. However, if you know jiu-jitsu and you can grab somebody that does it, it's all over. It's not like wrestling where they can fend you off and stop your takedowns, or some crazy debate where they're going to kill you in one punch before you can reach them. I really don't think they hit that hard. I'm going to grab them. I don't think karate is nearly as effective as jiu-jitsu at all. I view it more as about the discipline and wanting to learn the martial art, and that's fine too. But diving back into pure grappling, Judo is a hell of a sport. Massive throws, a grind-heavy mindset at the highest levels, and even throwing in submissions. Judo is an extremely effective sport if you can grab somebody. Similar to wrestling, Judo can dictate exactly where the fight will go. It's on your terms, they'll eat a meaty throw, and the throws put you in a dominant position to finish with your favorite submission. It's extremely effective because guess what? Nobody wants their head on the cement. And it's practical too. They train constantly in the gi, which I don't like, but guess what? Most people I know aren't running around naked. Whether it be a shirt you're grabbing, a jacket, or even their third leg, they're gonna get a hold of something if their hands can touch you. While submissions do exist in Judo, such as going for an armbar or cross-collar choke, and trust me, they're gonna try and rip your arm off, I don't think a pure jiu-jitsu athlete is gonna struggle with them in the submission department. In Judo, you only get a limited time on the ground, where in Jiu-Jitsu, you're constantly there. But I also wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of a full-blown Uchimata with my spine on the floor. At the highest level, Jiu-Jitsu definitely can't compete with Judo when it comes to doing takedowns, but they both want to bring it to the ground, and then it's just about who's better at their submissions and securing dominant positions. We saw one striking sport with karate, but the truest form of striking comes with Muay Thai. Devastating power with all limbs, willfully engaging in clinch wars, and crazy conditioning all make Muay Thai legit. And truthfully, I shouldn't have to say much about its effectiveness. We can say it utilized in MMA all the time with people getting knocked out bloody unconscious. And using every single limb of your body to throw strikes versus limiting your arsenal like boxing shows just how practical and versatile the sport truly is. They even added minimal grappling by using a Thai clinch, and I know Jiu-Jitsu people are too soft to receive a knee straight to the bridge of the nose. Now, Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai contrast greatly. I can't recommend one over the other as long as you understand the differences. Jiu-Jitsu would be for grapplers who don't want to suffer from brain damage constantly unless you're listening to your coach on financial decisions. Muay Thai would be for those that don't want to get super sweaty hugging onto another man, they prefer to keep distance and just light people up, and they don't get their knees blown out. Though I guess they probably could. Now, we've mentioned grappling and striking, but what about if we combine these two together? Sambo, or combat sambo specifically, mixes all these and puts them in one sport. You get jiu-jitsu techniques, wrestling techniques, and even shared striking techniques. So what's the problem here? Clearly it's effective, practical, and versatile if it combines all those together. Jack of all trades, master of none. Sambo does a great job creating stud athletes, bringing everything together and showing people a little bit of every discipline to make their art better. I mean, hell, they have a whole culture of it with people freezing to practice the sport over in Russia. But it always have problems mastering the finer points of each art. I also think that if you're trying to learn Sambo and drop into a gym that teaches it, good luck finding one. Maybe over in Europe or in Russia you have a better chance of it, but in the USA, I've not been able to find a single one where I can make a video. Comparing Sambo directly to Jiu-Jitsu, a Jiu-Jitsu guy will have better grappling on the ground, which is a similar argument to Judo, but they're still going to get tossed around, they can't eat too many strikes, and pulling guard may just be the best option so you don't have your face on the mat in record time. If I had to rank all these that I just mentioned and a bunch of other martial arts out there that I don't even want to practice doing, I'd have to say that Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling are the best. I don't need all the brain damage. I've done boxing, I've done Muay Thai and kickboxing, they're all great. But I'm at an age where I just don't want to worry about it. And I don't want to have a big gi around me either, so Judo's out and I'll just stick to no gi/wrestling. Choose whatever the best for you and what you enjoy the most, but please, no more katas.